This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
This kind of cracks me up. I ran across this article yesterday, Jamie. It's in the Dallas Morning News regarding SMU. Apparently, their Board of Trustees chair, David Miller, made a statement last Friday. They were watching a private screening of Thunder On, Resurgence of the SMU Mustangs. It's an ESPN documentary that aired Sunday that highlights the story of SMU's athletic program. And he said, "Pony Up has died a natural death." Well, there's a lot of folks there that like saying "pony up" on the SMU campus. Okay, and so they're not exactly happy about it. Apparently, they'd been phasing that out. He told the Dallas Morning News, "I'm surprised by the negative reaction. I didn't anticipate that. But regardless, it's fair to say that sometimes change is hard. If I had to say it all over again, I don't know that I would say Pony Up has died a natural death." Then he said, "We're SMU Mustangs. We're not SMU ponies." Well, they've been the ponies. People have called them the ponies for a long time, right? Just kind of slang, stuff like that, right? They even have it on their admissions website. Pony Up is SMU's shared rallying cry and greeting, followed by the Pony Up ears. It looks like a modified peace sign when you relax your fingers to look like pony ears. So I just thought it's just one of the, of course, the hit.
All is not grand at SMU right now.
No. So, the head football coach said, "We love our fans. If you say pony up to me, I'm going to say pony up back. If you say go Mustangs, I'm going to say go Mustangs."
Well, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, right. Right. So they're just don't say pony up to the Board of Trustees guys. He wants you to be the SMU Mustangs, like it's, they're running wild, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of. I mean, we kind of have our own deal going with Guns Up and Wreckem. I mean, there's some people that don't want to say guns up because they feel like that's a negative, connotation, supporting guns, even though it's guns up. I mean, it's just what we said for a million years, and some prefer Wreckem. Do you say Wreckem more or guns up more?
Definitely guns up more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the better comparison would probably be with what we going on with the double T's.
Yeah, right, the beveled or the flat.
Yeah, and some people are adamantly against the beveled one, and others like the beveled one better, and so you have a fan base that's quote unquote split in that which one they like. I don't think it's causing any friction or whatever.
No. I mean, basically what it allows for the retailers is you can sell two different styles of shirts.
Yeah, and I think that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about the real retailers, but I'm just as a fan, it's cool to have both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Good luck to the retailers. I'm not rooting against them. I'm just.
No, I got you.
I'm not worried about it.
I wonder. I wonder, Jamie, should we kind of fool with our Double T 97.3 logo and do a flat double T in our logo just for giggles and grins?
I actually heard the designing committee working on one where it's your face as our logo. So,
no, we don't want that.
Soon.
Why would we do that? That would be that would be bad. Somebody says this wasn't them running wild that got them the death penalty. Yes. Yeah, right. No.
Can you get the death penalty anymore?
No, I don't think you can.
I mean,
don't think you
couldn't
can.
They do exactly what they were doing before and not get the death penalty now?
Maybe if you were a team that wasn't making the NCAA money or whatever. But
do you buy into any of the thought that the teams that used to be dominant in their particular sports, and maybe we haven't seen the full thread of this yet, but Do you buy into the fact that, well, now that everybody can do it, that it's kind of equalized things out a little bit, and those that were doing it before really big under the table now are basically just at the same level as everybody else?
I think there has to be some truth to that. Mm-hmm. If there were teams that in the past that were paying players or whatever, I mean, the fact that you can do it legally now, I think it does level things out a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think particularly.
Are you referring to the Kansas basketball program?
Well, I think that's part of. I think you'd have to take a look at that, absolutely, and say, well, why is this? Why have they come back to the crowd? And I'm like, no, I think the crowd is caught up to them because the crowd may be doing exactly what they've been doing, and I think you might be able to say the same thing about Alabama. To a degree.
When the number of schools...
Alabama's had their bad stretches besides now, and also they're not horrible right now. But they may be another one. I bet there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
When the number of schools that were able to pay went up to a level that the talent gets balanced out, that numbers get talked about, that it moves the talent around. It raised the plateau for what everybody else was doing, so it was no longer a mountain peak like it was when only a few teams were paying the exorbitant amount of money that we're seeing in NIL now. It wasn't the norm, it was the exception before, now it's the norm.
Yeah, and I think probably where that's been affected most might be men's basketball. Just because you can really affect your roster with 2 or 3 players. I mean, it takes a lot more in football to really affect your roster. I mean, you've got to make a seismic shift, like we did here, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think softball is pretty high up there on that list. You get just the right player there, and you're one win away from winning a College World Series.
Yeah, as we've talked about a million times before, feels like it's the one sport where one player can change everything.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. But I think there is something to be said for that, especially with regard to men's basketball. That programs that maybe you looked at and went, oh, how are they doing that? Now I think you know why, and maybe you knew why all along. But I think now I think there's some more parity in men's basketball than maybe we've seen in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, maybe.
So we'll see.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Here is Jeff McGuire with a day in sports history.
1941, Stan Musial makes his Major League debut for the St. Louis Cardinals. He would start his career going 2 for 4. 1961, Fran Turkington plays his first NFL game against the Chicago Bears, coming off the bench to lead the Vikings to a 37-13 victory and becoming the only quarterback to throw 4 touchdown passes in his first career game.
He had quite the TV career too. Fran Tarkenton did. He was one of those guys that kind of did a little bit of everything.
Okay.
1965, Chuck Harrison becomes the very first Red Raider baseball player to get a hit in Major League Baseball, going 1 for 3 in a 4-2 Astros loss to the Cincinnati Reds. He made his Major League debut on the 15th, earning a walk in his lone plate appearance there.
How about that?
Very cool.
He was a first baseman, I believe.
1968, San Francisco Giants Gaylord Perry no-hits the St. Louis Cardinals 1-0. Fast forward to 96, Dodgers Hideo Nomo no-hits the Colorado Rockies 9-0 at Coors Field. 2005, Robert Johnson has 8 catches for 209 yards, and Texas Tech rolls up 650 passing yards in all in an 80-21 win over Sam Houston State. You might want to keep an eye on that Robert Johnson guy. I think he's going to be pretty good.
He'll catch a big one against the Aggies.
It is National Apple Dumpling Day.
Okay, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. I don't ever think I've had an apple dumpling, but I'm a big fan of the Apple Dumpling Gang. Very old Disney movie. Patrick Mahomes, some quarterback somewhere, 30. Kyle Chandler is 60. Phil Jackson is 80. Marcus Simeon, 35. And Rasheed Wallace is 51. And today is one of those days that you could say happy birthday to the United States. I know we celebrated on July 4th. Totally get it. That's the day we basically told England to shove it. I mean, that's what the Declaration of Independence was. But today, 1787, the Constitution of the United States of America is signed by 39 delegates presented at the conclusion of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. Supporters of the document waged a hard-won battle to win ratification by the necessary 9 of the 13 U.S. states. And this day in sports history.
6:48 this morning here on the morning drive. This day in sports history. Thank you, Jeff. Take a look at Texas Tech and Utah coming up at 7 o'clock this morning. You know, it's funny. I was watching the sports last night with David Collier and watching the cross-country runners. Man, those guys look like cross-country runners. I mean, it's like, you look at them when they're running. You know, sometimes people don't.
They don't look like swimmers?
No, but I mean, it's like.
Or rodeo clowns?
It was just impressive watching those guys run. I mean, it's just like, they look like bona fide, high quality Big 12 runners of the week. Anyway,
Well, it's good to know that Texas Tech has recruited Division I looking athletes.
Well, no, but I mean, it's just, when you look at sometimes you look at those guys and you go, oh, that's it. I mean, he just looked like it. I mean, he looked like one of those runners that you see on the Olympics and stuff like that. You're like, oh, that guy is high quality right there. I mean, he's Big 12 runner of the week again, Titus Kimaru, and in his second collegiate cross-country race, he won the meet by 23 seconds. Okay. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, for Texas Tech, they want 1, 2, 4, 12, and 25 at the Texas Tech Open. So, I mean, you win your second one ever. That's pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and he looks like... I don't know, just looked like that was pretty cool. 6:50 this morning here on the morning drive. I mean, I'm no expert when it comes to runners or anything like that, but I'm just like, you kind of have an eye for things. You kind of go, oh, okay. Like that person looks like a football player. That person looks like a basketball. They may not be, and they get on the floor and then they prove themselves that they're not, or they prove themselves that they are. But that's just kind of one of those deals, like you spot right away. It's like, no, Hall of Famer, right there.
Yeah.
Jamie, what was that ad we were running for drug testing? We got to be keeping it in here for that.
They'll come to you. Yeah, they'll come to you.
We need to be paying attention for when that comes back up.
Yeah, we don't. You don't have to send them there.
You're gonna have to write down that number.
Yeah, they'll just come here.
I may need that later.
I don't know that we need anybody just coming here,
I don't think you get a vote in this.
Just,
Since you are the one we are testing.
Come by and, say hi. And, I mean, don't I have rights?
Yes. You have a right to not work here.
Okay. Because I have the right to not do it. What do you think of what Cal Raleigh's done this year in baseball, Jamie? He broke another record. This one by Mickey Mantle, and matched it on by Ken Griffey Jr. He hit his 55th home run. That puts him past Mantle for a switch hitter, a mark that had stood since 1961. Then he hit his 56th in the next inning, and that tied a club record with Ken Griffey Jr. that goes back to 1997, and then he did that again in 1998.
I think it's awesome. I mean, obviously, he's been a big part of what the Mariners have been this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and you wouldn't be surprised if they won a World Series, would you?
I wouldn't label them as the favorite, but I mean, they're one of the. I mean, they're playing well at the right time, all that good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I probably wouldn't list them in my top 3 or 4 favorites.
Yeah. Somebody says this: one of the many times I wish Chuck had an off switch. Thought he was having a seizure in the middle of whatever that was. Well, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes.
What did I miss?
When I was trying to explain the cross-country runner stuff, probably.
Okay.
I was having a seizure. What about a seizure? I mean, I think I was having a seizure. I think you'd know it.
I mean, the point is valid in that you see a tall person, you think, that's probably a basketball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're walking around on campus, right? You see a skinny guy, and, depending on what he's wearing, you're thinking to yourself, that could be a cross-country runner. Yeah. And
then they go out there and
guy's like not an ounce of fat on him and all that good stuff.
They go out there and they just kind of glide, and just kind of like, man.
For hours and hours and hours.
I just have no desire to do that.
They definitely look different than the rest of us.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. They eat better. They drink better. They exercise. They run.
They run more.
Yeah, a ton more. Right. You see these. They've got this running club here at night. These guys running around the Civic Center, and gals, and it's just like, wow. I don't desire to be you, but I admire you. But I don't desire to be you. This looks painful when I see them.
You think they say the same thing to you about you?
Oh, they probably look at me and go, I don't desire to be that guy. Yes, absolutely.
But they admire you?
Yes. No, I don't think that. I don't think they feel that way at all. No. 6:55 this morning here on the morning drive. That was kind of a clunky hour. But we'll see if we can fix it. We're allowed to get better, right, Jamie?
We sure are.
We're allowed to get better.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Saturday, Texas Tech and Utah will battle in Salt Lake City. We'll have the broadcast for you beginning with Optimum Game Day Live at 7 a.m. The kick is at 11 o'clock our time on Saturday morning. You're going to face your toughest quarterback that you've faced to date, and obviously the toughest team. But Devin Dampier is a dual threat guy. Last year, Jamie threw for almost 2,800 yards, 12 touchdowns, but also 12 interceptions. So you're looking to see if you can get one of those so far from him. He's not thrown any yet this year. He's got 7 TDs already this season. Has thrown for 628 yards. He also rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, and he's well on his way to doing that this year with 198 yards on 33 attempts and 1 touchdown. So he's a dual threat guy, and that poses a problem. And Coach Shiel Wood, who's the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, talked about how he sees his team defending this dual threat quarterback.
We want to do a good job of stopping the run. Some of the dual threat quarterbacks are guys that are involved in quarterback-driven run game. That's the case this week. And then dual threat quarterbacks that can scramble or want to scramble and extend plays in the passing game. 2 different approaches. Guys that are dual threats, usually they have a little bit in their offensive package where they're going to use both in certain situations in the game. However, depending on the offensive scheme that you're facing that week, it may be more, hey, we can run him in the run game, but we prefer to allow him to extend plays and scramble from a pass game standpoint. So I think you just look at those things and then try to gauge, how you have to attack the run game because of the threat of the quarterback run. And then if maybe they're not a quarterback-driven run game in terms of actual run plays, and it's more scramble ability, then you just have to approach that in terms of your pass rush lanes and different ways to maybe pressure the quarterback to keep him in the pocket, get pressure on him, and not allow him to get out.
So he's a problem.
Yeah, with his legs, he's a major problem. No doubt about it. He's a terrific athlete. Guy can really run. He's shifty, got a little power to him. So slowing him down is a major factor for any team that's playing Utah this year.
So far on the season, he is 65 of 95, 628 yards, 7 touchdowns, averages about 209 yards a game, passing-wise. And then, as I said, rushing-wise, he's averaging 6 yards a carry. So, I mean, he's a guy that can obviously pick up a first down. His long for the year so far is 23 yards. His long last year was 85 yards. He played for New Mexico last year, and this is why they got him, because he can be a big factor in their football program and their team. He ran for 86 yards last week against Wyoming. And I guess the thing that's impressive so far for him through 3 games, now, again, you can look at the level of competition, right, with UCLA and Cal Poly and Wyoming.
You can absolutely but with these stats too.
Mm-hmm. And I think the most impressive thing for him is that he has yet to throw an interception. So that's something you'd like to change on Saturday.
Absolutely. You're going to want to get pressure on him, but at the same time, you got to be disciplined in your rush lanes, and you'd rather him stand in the pocket and throw it than get outside the pocket and see what can happen that way. So the good news is you have plenty of really quality pass rushers, and you have some big guys in the middle that can kind of clog the middle up too with your defensive front. So this is a terrific matchup with their great offensive line and a really athletic quarterback and your defensive front. This should be a really good challenge.
And Coach Shiel Wood talked about how they're going to get ready for that offensive line this week that they're facing with Utah.
They have a really good offensive line. They've got several guys that are projected, I think, high round draft picks. They're big, they're physical, they're athletic. So they do a great job. They have great personnel up front, which will present a challenge for us in terms of our preparation. We're a process-driven team. Every week, it's about us. As we prepare for an opponent, it's about our preparation each and every day. We're stressing to our guys today to hydrate, rest, recover, study some on their own, so that when they come to practice tomorrow, they can lever the ball, they can run to the ball, they can play with great fundamentals and techniques, they can be prepared mentally to take on the schemes that we're going to show them in practice. And those are the things that we do each and every week, regardless of who we're playing.
So this is obviously your first true test for your defense, and Coach McGuire said after the ball game on Saturday, and I think it was actually Monday when he said that the defense was as advertised. So this is kind of where you're going to say, okay, is it still as advertised?
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, I mean,
no. Is it still after this week?
Oh, after this week.
Yeah, after this week.
Yep.
I mean,
well, we'll see.
They've got a couple other guys that can run the football for them. So far this year, they're a team that's shown that they can put it, run the ball and pass as well. But again, it's just so hard to tell when you haven't played anybody. So both teams are really facing that, because I think they've got to look at Texas Tech and go, well, you don't have a dual threat quarterback, but you got a guy that has a lot of weapons that can get the ball to several different receivers. And the question now for Texas Tech is who's got the better. I mean, if you look at them versus you have to say that they have the better offensive line.
Yes,
they have the more established offensive line. So can your guys give Morton the time that he needs to throw, and can your defensive guys disrupt that offensive line for them and put them in that spot? I mean, they average 290 yards per ball game. I mean, if they get over 250, you're going to be in trouble, don't you think?
Depends.
What's your offense doing? Yeah. I wouldn't expect it to be a high scoring game. So if you were, what did you say, 250. 250. Yeah.
If they've got 250 on the ground and say 115 through the air,
250 on the ground, you're having a hard time winning that game.
But if that's all the offense that they have, what I just described.
Yeah, but if it's 250, I mean, if you're running for 250, you are milking the clock, and your offense is hardly touching the field.
I don't think that this is. Maybe this is just me. The only way I see them giving up 250 on the ground is if it's in a couple of big chunks. Like, you've got to have some 40 and 50-yard runs there.
I will be shocked if they're at 250 on the ground.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Would you be shocked if they're over 200?
Yeah.
I would be really surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we've paid all this money for this defensive line and they're going to run for 250,
I'm just telling you, they're averaging.
That is a colossal collapse.
Okay.
If they rush for 250.
Okay.
I mean, you're comparing what they against who?
Well, I'm just saying they're
wondering if they're going to do that against us.
They're averaging right now 290.
Yeah, I mean, and if
they're averaging.
And you're averaging winning by 40 points.
Yeah.
No, I got it. I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, if they run for 250 against what we're putting out there now is, expected to be one of the top 5 defensive lines in the country, man, that is a horrible day. Horrible day. Win or lose, that is a horrible day for your defensive line.
It's not good. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But
again, it could still be a good day overall, but it would be a horrible day for your defensive line.
But if you win and you give up 250, you're okay, right?
I mean, I'll be happy, but I will sit here on Monday and say, what in the world
was that
with your defensive line?
Well, maybe it's like Jeff said. You have a guy that runs for 90 yards on a play, gets loose. Maybe the quarterback gets loose and runs 85. He's certainly capable of that.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Cowboys might be done?
No, Rangers.
Well, you said the Rangers might be done.
I said some Cowboy news too.
Okay.
Two. They're not done yet. No, they're 1-1. Some people think they're done. I
think you left out the news and you said and Cowboys too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Some Cowboy news too.
Okay.
Some Cowboy news as well. Yeah, they're not done. No.
I was worried we were going to have to talk about that team being eliminated already.
Oh no, no. I don't know how far they.
Jeff thinks they are.
Is that the question of the day?
No, it is not. Okay. Pretty simple one for you today, and I'm taking off the board turnovers and points. Okay? I'm taking those off the board. Okay. In this game against Utah, what is the most important stat for this game? What's the thing that has to go the Red Raiders' way if they're going to win?
I think third down. I think you got to get off the field. Right now, Utah's at a clip of 71%. Their opponent's 22%. Again, I know who they've played. I know that it's not going to matter a whole lot.
What's your third down percentage?
I don't have that off the top. I'll get to that, but I think it's third down. I just feel like that if you can get them off the field, then that helps you in so many different ways. Because it keeps drives from getting extended. It keeps keeps everybody fresh. Third down, Texas Tech is 20 of 36. Your opponents are 13 of 45. So 20 divided by 36. So you're at 55%. I'd like that to be a little higher, Jamie, to be quite honest with you. But I don't know how many you've only had 36 third down attempts. Your opponents have had 45, and they're 13 of 45. So let's see. From Utah's standpoint,
I wonder what that number is for the first team offense.
Utah, yeah, right. Utah's offense as well. They've had 45 third down attempts, and they've converted 32 times. So you've had 36. Your opponents have had 45, and because you've not had a whole lot of third downs because you've gone straight down the field. So, but I think in this game, you hope you have more third down. You hope you have some. You hope you don't have a lot of 3rd and 1, because you have 3rd and 1. Guess what? They're going to hand the ball off and boom, first down.
For us or for them?
For them.
Okay, you're not showing a lot of faith in our defensive line.
Not on 3rd and 1.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm just not. I think 3rd and 1, a lot of teams are converting.
All right, Jeff.
The stat I'm coming up with is similar to Chuck's, but I feel like it's enough different that I'm not like straight copying. Total numbers of plays by both offenses. If they are dominating you on the number of plays, I think this could be you could get in trouble. I don't think you have to win it for the Red Raiders. I think your offense has shown some big playability that you could score on 3 plays on a 70-yard drive kind of thing. And they may march down the field in order with their run game. I think your defensive line is good enough to stop them from getting those big plays, but they could be eating up a lot of territory with a lot of downs. That needs to be closer to a balance than way overshadowed on one side. So total number of plays on each side.
They average 74 plays a game. Their opponents 64. Yeah.
Every stat you're throwing at me right now for what they're averaging on both sides, Botech and Utah. Yeah, but all of that is thrown out the window this week.
I think you have a more quick strike offense than they do. So if they have, 10 or 15 more plays run than you do, I still think that you can win this game.
But if they've got like 40 more,
okay, yes.
That's what I'm kind of talking about.
I'm sorry, they're averaging 80 plays a game.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
I think for me, it is. I'm trying to go really specific here because I don't want to just be basic. But I'm not even saying rushing yards. I'm not saying rushing yards from Devin Dampier. I'm saying scrambling yards from Devin Dampier, which is not an actual stat. Okay. But the yardage he picks up when he gets outside the pocket, when you rush him, when he's dropping back to pass and you rush him and he gets outside the pocket, how many rushing yards does he have doing that? How many first downs on 3rd down does he pick up because he was able to, the Red Raiders didn't set the edge and they were able to get around him, or he was able to get around them and get outside and pick up first downs. I think that you can handle Utah having a decent day on the ground. You just can't handle him changing the game with his legs. And they're gonna rush for some yards. I don't think it's gonna be easy for him because I do have a lot of confidence in our defensive line and linebackers. But they're gonna pick up yardage on the ground. They are. I don't think they're as explosive as the Red Raiders are offensively. That's why I give Tech a little bit of an advantage in picking this game. But I think the difference maker could be him picking up 3rd downs with his feet. And so the stat I want to look at is, his yardage once he gets outside the pocket.
That's a good thought. I bet you somebody over at Tech Football has analyzed that and looked at that. That's an interesting thought there.
I think if he stays in the pocket, he's not. I'm not saying he's a terrible passer, but I don't think he beats you.
I'm not
consistently if he's staying in the pocket.
The other stat that I would throw in there that I think will determine this is quarterback pressures. And a lot of that is on both. It's on our defensive line getting to him and our offensive line protecting Morton. If Morton has time to throw, he's going to find the guy that's going to get 6 points. If you can keep them contained and force him to stay in the pocket and really harass him that way, get him off of his spots, this could be a fun day for the Red Raiders.
If your offensive line has a good day, it's hard for me to imagine you losing the game.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Schools from Lubbock High, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper. The big matchup this week is Friendship and Lubbock Cooper at Friendship High School. That'll be a 7 o'clock kick. We'll have it on 100.7 The Score for the Coopers and Double T 97.3 for the friendships. So that should be a lot of fun. The Cooper is 2-1, and Friendship is 1-2 on this season. Liberty, they're 3-0 on the season.
Good start for them.
Great start, yeah. They put up a bunch of points. They face Seminole at their place on Friday night, and we'll have that for you on Young Country 93.1. Monterey is in action on Friday night. They take on Odessa High School. That'll be over at Lowry Field, and we'll have that for you on 93.7 The Eagle. By the way, I was listening to The Eagle on the way to work this morning, and I hadn't heard this song in a long time, and it made my accelerator go down a little bit more than it normally was. But Sheena Easton and Strut, had not heard that song in quite some time, and it's like, okay, I was into the rhythm. Next thing I knew, I was doing about 75.
So you're going slower than normal. Good for you.
You slowed down.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Good one, Jeff.
the Coronado Mustangs will be in action where they need some love. They play at Shotwell. They take on Cooper, Abilene Cooper, on Friday night. We'll have that for you on 96.9 The Bull. They need a little strut. Maybe that's what they need. They need a little Sheena Easton pumped into their pregame or their practice.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Sounds like Chuck needs to go do another pregame speech.
I'm 0-1, done with pregame speeches. Let's see. Estacado plays at Sweetwater, coming off of a loss to West Plains, and Lubbock High coming off of a win over Snyder. They'll play at Lakeview on Friday night. That's down in San Angelo. Okay, and then Brendan Riker's dad's ropes team, Ropesville, will take ropes. We'll take on Olton. Doesn't he do the Olton games?
He does.
Oh, I wonder if he gets a little. I wonder if his dad's not sharing all with him. The broadcaster's just going to give it to the Olton coach.
NFL should look into Brendan Riker and Tom Brady. Yep, clearly.
New home is at Denver City, and Idalou will be playing at Compass Academy. The game will actually take place at Ratliff, and that'll be on Friday. Okay, so they're that's among the games. All right, let's give a listen to Mack Leftwitch. He is the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech. He was asked about the pressure that Oregon State got to Baron Morton. What was letting that happen?
Yeah, it was really, to be completely honest, the pressure from the offensive line. There was really just the one, the sack that we took backed up right before half. The other pressures were really kind of more quarterback force. Like he just kind of continued drifting in the pocket. And so, to your question, that's something that we're working on, is just a little bit better pocket presence and trusting your progression and climbing in the pocket, and not inviting the pressure up the field, as much, because when you keep drifting as a quarterback, right, your edges, you never set the edge to the defense so they can just continue and they've got a better angle at you. And so a little bit of that was on him. I thought the O-line actually pass protected really well. There was 3 or 4 plays where he was back there, for days, it felt like, and we were able to hit a receiver on scramble drill, and had a couple big explosives because those guys gave us enough time. So I think really just that one pressure that we gave up was the only one that I felt like was really on the offensive line.
So the drifting of the quarterback. Is that what your eyes saw? Drifting? I mean, I've never heard
saw
drifting.
Him drifting away from men that were chasing him.
Yes.
I'm sure there's
probably a little bit of that going on.
I'm sure. I mean, I trust Coach Leftwich's opinion. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, obviously he knows what his quarterback's doing right and wrong, and there's probably a lot of truth to what he's saying there with Barron, maybe moving outside the pocket quicker than he needed to be. I'm definitely not going to argue with that. But at the same time, I also saw offensive linemen getting beat and guys chasing Barron.
Yeah.
I don't think he just took the snap and started rolling right.
No. It's like he's it's like he's driving down the highway, and just not really thinking about anything, and all of a sudden just drifting into the other lane.
Yeah, or backpedaling or whatever it was. Yeah. Maybe he felt the pressure more than he needed to. Maybe that's fair. Maybe that's what Coach Leftwitch is talking about. Maybe he felt like he could have stayed there in the pocket and gotten rid of the ball quicker.
Sure.
And then he didn't have to worry about outrunning the guy drifting to the right or whatever. Just stay in the pocket, make the quicker throw, make a quicker read. I think that's fair. I felt like Barron was maybe holding the ball a little bit longer than he needed to last week. And that's where I said this on the chat line. It was almost as if it just had this feeling where Barron was like, hey, I can get away with this. I can get away with this, holding the ball longer instead of getting it out quicker. He's not going to be able to do that against this great defensive line or really good defensive line that Utah and other good teams in the Big 12 Conference. And it gives me a little bit of concern when we're talking about playing 3 and patsies that you get lulled into this. Okay, well, we can just.
Everybody's like this.
I can lose some of my disciplines because this team can't challenge me. Well, this team this week can.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's a small thing, but like it. I know Coach McGuire and all his coaches are going to, make it very clear that this is a different deal. Okay, but when you are allowed to play at one speed and get away with certain things for 3 straight weeks, that maybe that it's a little bit of a shock to the system, right? When you can't get away with those things as much. So that's where this non-conference schedule presents a little bit of a challenge immediately going into maybe the best team that you're going to face this year. And so that's where you really wish that you could have eased into this with even a Houston or whatever before you had to go to the best team in the Big 12 Conference. It would have been more beneficial for the Red Raiders. And you don't get the choice of when you play Utah. But it you would have felt way better if Tech had like 2 Big 12 games under their belt before you went into that game.
You get a little numb to it. They always say it takes 3 weeks to form a habit and all those things. Hopefully the wake-up call.
Hopefully it didn't take 3 weeks to form some bad habits there. But I did feel like Barron was holding the ball longer than he needed to at times.
Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line from our friend Lindale Jeff. Every little town has a place where old men go to have coffee and talk about sports. In my hometown, it was the feed store. After listening to the morning drive for many years and hearing Chuck, JL, and Jeff talk about the game, I realized y'all are my feed store. So throw 50 bags of cake on my dad's flatbed for my show steers. Okay, we're the old...
I'm honored.
You're honored? Okay.
I'm honored.
Okay, we're the feed store.
Be one of the old guys at the feed store?
We're the feed store.
Those guys had the living going.
Okay.
That's how that goes.
I'm just glad he said he enjoys listening to us talk about the games.
Yeah.
Not like our personal stories and, the crazy things that we do.
Chuck, don't you give pregame speeches for the Lady Raiders? No, I do not.
He gives it to the coaches.
I do not.
Coaches.
I might make some statements, but it's more. I save my speech for.
He does tell them his number one stat that is the key. He's got numbers.
I think I might. Well, I said the other day I was going to do a better job of that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not.
Better job of what?
Not
giving better numbers.
Well. I thought my numbers were spot on. Okay, I was nails on that.
Nobody's got better numbers than Chuck Heinz, Jamie. You know that.
I was nails on that. Just sometimes not everybody needs to know that, right? Maybe we're better off not knowing that. I'm just going to keep my comments to myself. They're saving for Fink. Maybe that's what I need to do.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.